Welcome to the Exploring Washington State podcast. Here's your host, Scott Cowan.
It's a great start. All right, everybody, I am sitting here with Sam Lachow. Thank you so much for being on. You are
No, hold on. Thank you so much for having me on.
I'm very excited about it.
It is amazing to be here. I'm so, and I don't know, what time is it there where you are?
It is 8:30 in the morning.
Oh my God. So thank you for waking up. Are you a coffee drinker?
I am. I have my cup with me right here.
But
you're the one that had to stay up late for this. How do I drink it? With oat milk.
Oh, yeah, okay. So just, yeah. For me, it's either black or oat milk, actually.
I can't do the dairy milk.
I can do the dairy milk. I just prefer the oat milk. And no, this is like a normal time for me. It's 11:30 p.m. here in Seattle. But anyway, sorry, I completely interrupted your intro.
Well,
do your thing.
What if I just was checking Instagram and saw it looked like you were in the studio today?
Yep.
And what were you?
Would you like me to elaborate on the studio?
I would love for you to elaborate on the studio.
Well, allow me to elaborate on my studio experience. Today, so I constantly am working on multiple projects at once. It's sort of how I maintain my mental stability in a way. I need to have a lot going on. That's just how I am. I have an album coming out very soon, but the project that I was working on in the studio today is something that might not be out for could be in a year. I'm not exactly sure. But I have 3 projects in the works. One that's coming out soon, another that coming out after that that's a little bit more folky sing-song, and the one that I was working on today is me and my friend Ryan. More of a rap project, all produced by me from scratch. Sort of bringing it back to having fun when we were young, high school, making music, just sort of chilling, making rap songs. And that's sort of what this project is about. So today was just a blast. We had so much fun in the studio, and hopefully it'll come out sooner than later.
I remember when I was in high school, because I think you're like 2 or 3 years older than I am. And I remember when your song Dubs on Deck came out. I went to high school in Tacoma, so Seattle wasn't that far from us. And I remember we were all just like losing our minds.
Wow, that's amazing.
So is that the kind of rap that you're talking about that you're making again, or at least on this one project? This fun...
That's actually a great example, sort of. That was sort of one of those songs that, we made. I remember like a lot of the raps for Dubs on Deck we made while we were biking around, and just kind of like freestyling. I remember Skylar had a line in Dubs on Deck that was, I probably shouldn't curse on here.
It's okay. You can.
I don't even know if there's a curse word in it, but it was something along the lines of, he said, I stopped smoking weed and I stopped fucking bitches. Started smoking hash, started fucking real women. And I remember we were riding our bikes in Capitol Hill, and we came up with that line, and we were just dying laughing. And just like imagine people hearing this and hearing us say, I stopped fucking women and stopped smoking weed, and I'll be like, oh, what? And then they hear the second line, they're like, oh. So
it definitely had us laughing in high school. So
it had us laughing in high school too. Shit. But where'd you go to high school? In
I went to Stadium.
Like a public school in Tacoma, or where? I don't know.
Yeah, to Stadium. That's the one where they recorded 10 Things I Hate About You. That big castle one right on the water.
Gotcha. Wow. Yeah. What's up? But yeah, that's actually a good example, though. This project is sort of is bringing it back to when I had the most fun making music. Like even before it was how I make a living, and I still I still have fun every song I make, but it's definitely become more of a job in some ways. And this project has sort of felt a little bit more like nostalgic in how it used to be. And yeah, it's been a blast. But that's awesome.
What is the biggest change then from making music as a hobby to making music as like a full-time job? Like, what would be for you the biggest thing that's changed?
So, I mean, so many changes so basically I wanted to say the short answer, but this might turn into a longer answer. But I sort of, when it turned into a real job and I sort of started having to learn about the marketing aspects, and I started having to learn about taxes and how the business side of things works, which is that's not how my mind really works. So like, I remember when I first got the IRS hit me with some taxes, I was like, what, from music money? What the fuck are you talking about? This just wasn't how it worked. And I had to get an accountant. I had to get all these things. And this is stuff that I love. I love talking to up and coming artists, especially independent artists, about this kind of stuff, because it's something that I wish I learned a long time ago. But that was sort of one of the big changes is having to learn, that kind of stuff. And one of the things that I also is realizing what stuff, as far as like accounting, that what stuff doesn't make as much sense to someone like me, who's an artist and a creative, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And allowing myself to be okay with the fact that I'm not that good at that stuff. and that's okay. And maybe I can, designate that to somebody else. I can still, remember what I love about this and focus on that, and remember that, while all these new things come my way, I don't have to focus all that much on it. I can. Does that make any
delegate
sense?
Yeah, you can delegate so that you can focus on the creative part of it.
And even if it's not like the most financially smart move in some ways. Oh, is that a doggy?
Sorry, that was my cat.
Oh, is it a kitty? Is it a cute little kitty?
He is. He's kind of a jerk, but.
Oh, hi. What's his name?
Lou.
So basically, I would delegate all my my business stuff to Lou, and Lou would have to figure out how to be a little business marketing kitty, sweetheart.
You should earn his keep.
And I would say, Lou, are you little accountant kitty?
Could get him like a little bow tie.
Yeah. So yeah, basically that's what I had to learn. Is Lou became my accountant kitty.
Do you struggle with being creative now that there's more pressure to like earn a living with your music, or do you think that just kind of flows naturally from you?
I don't stress about creativity, because like if I was more ambitious in some ways, I probably would be trying harder to like, make a radio hit or a single, or I'd be trying to like be more on TikTok, like dancing or pranking people, or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, my manager would probably love if I was more into that stuff, but I'm just not. And
yeah.
And I've kind of accepted that, and
mm-hmm.
and I've become okay with, and luckily I don't have to do that stuff. I can do the stuff that I want to do. And although like if I want to make one of my songs bigger, it would probably help if I like came up with a dance for TikTok or something and did that. But instead I sort of just stick to consistency. I make sure that I put a new hot song out every month, and just keep it going. But sorry, what was the original question? It was.
No, that was a good answer. I mean, going back
Okay.
to the whole TikTok thing, getting your songs on the radio. I mean, there's no point in being on TikTok if it's not authentic to who you are and to your music. And also there is that huge trend with hip hop artists and rappers who want to make it big, and so then they switch to complete, I don't know, like poppy top 40s kind of vibes. Which, I mean, it has a time and a place, but like...
Totally. No, and luckily, I guess that answers your question a bit, is luckily the music I'm into, I love pop music. And when I say pop music, I mean pop melodies, melodic, I grew up on the Beatles, I grew up on Neil Young, the Beach Boys, the pop as it gets. And even with the rap, I grew up on, Ja Rules and like pop music, essentially.
Yeah.
And so no, even when I'm making the exact music that I want to make, it still has that catchy feel to it because that's what I like. So I don't ever have to feel that I'm sort of trying to, for lack of a better word, sell out. If the song that I'm in the mood to make right now happens to be sort of a catchy pop top 40 sounding song, then that's what I'm making,
But that's staying authentic to yourself, which I think is important.
Yeah, because it goes the other way too. Like I will make the exact opposite and think and put it out as a single. My manager will get mad, but I'll be like, no, this is the coolest shit ever. He's like, well, no one's going to listen to it, but sure.
If you want to. But I mean, that's what I personally like about your music is that like when I put your name in on Spotify, there's a ton of different songs and no two of them really sound alike.
Oh yeah, that's sort of my main thing is I want, when you listen to an album, I want, even if you don't like a song, when you go to next, you're going to have no idea what the next song is going to sound like. It might be some G-funk 90s sound. It might be some EDM. It might be some, like, you have no idea. And that's what I'm into.
So you said that you grew up listening to pop music. Was music big in your household growing up, or was that just what you were looking for music-wise?
So I'll give you the quick sort of music story. I grew up in a very artistic household. My dad does film and directs theater. My mom is a dance choreographer, does and directs theater, and art was just in my family. Music came to me maybe sort of in spite of that. I didn't. Art was something I couldn't really get away from, but I also was so sick of being around this theater shit. Like, I grew up kind of having to be in their plays. They would give me roles, and I was, it wasn't what I was into. But at the same time, art was, it was everywhere. And as far as music, I remember the first time was we had this little shit Volvo in Seattle, and I was so used to my family, we didn't have a lot, and I was so used to all my friends having the Disney Channel and all the Rugrats, all the Nickelodeons, all the cool stuff. And one time I find out that our Volvo has FM and AM radio, like the whole thing. And I remember being like, wait, so this like the same shit that Max Keeler has? Like, this is the exact like, wait, we have all the channels? Like, we don't have to what? Because with radio it was all the same thing. So we would everywhere we drove, they would get out and go to the restaurant or go wherever, and I would just stay in the car and just listen, and became obsessed with music. And this was back when, I don't know if you know these days, when you couldn't just like look up a song that you liked. You would have to sit and I remember H to the Izzo, Jay-Z. I would just sit there waiting for them to say, and again, we're going to play H to the Izzo. And I'd be like, ah!
I had that moment when I was a kid. I had this like little radio that you could record on the tapes, you know, on when something was playing on the radio.
Okay, yeah.
And I remember the first time I heard Eminem in D12, the song My Band, I must have been like 6 or 7 years old. It blew my mind. So I waited in my room all day long until they played it again so then I could record it because I was just like, this is insane.
No, that's so funny. That's like exactly that time period for me too. I remember My Band, do you remember LimeWire?
Yes.
So My Band is, whenever I think of LimeWire, I think of My Band. I remember trying to download My Band on LimeWire, and like, that song, My Band, was like, man, I played it over and over and over again.
Still as an adult, I am still obsessed with that song. When it comes on, I'm just like, oh my God,
my dad loves that song.
Does he really?
I mean, it's a great song, but yeah, he loves that song.
It is a great song. My dad's a huge music person, but he's not into hip hop at all.
I spoke to your dad.
Did you?
Did you not say that?
I don't remember. Maybe we talk a lot, so I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, I talked to him, and he made it very clear that he is not a hip hop person. And I was like, I get it, man, but like my stuff is, at least listen to it. Yeah,
I think he did. I think when he gets into his head about hip hop, he just like shuts down. He's like, nope.
I know.
Traumatized from all of my years of angstily playing it. Really
it was your fault. Totally.
It was my fault. My poor dad was a single dad to me in high school, me and my brother, and I was just wild and playing rap music, and he's such a sweet guy. Tell him I said hello. He's pretty funny. I will let him know. So your parents being in this art world, I guess for you to like come out and say that you want to be a musician probably wasn't like a huge shock to them.
I never came out as a musician.
Well, no, I mean like not coming out as in like, you know, but
no. I know what you mean. Yeah, there was never. It definitely. I guess I'll say something that definitely made it easier was that as soon as I started making money from making art, they actually, even if I wasn't making money making art, like they were insanely supportive. That's something that, like, even though I grew up like completely broke, you know, we had nothing, but we were all artists, and like they were insanely supportive of just the art. Like they understood it, you know. It would, yeah, there was never like a, Mom, Dad, I'm gonna pick a career that doesn't make any money.
So it was like a natural progression.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah. I guess it was more like, Mom, Dad, I'm picking a career that also doesn't make any money like you guys, so you can't tell me shit. You
kind of had the upper hand there, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, no, there was never any. And still to this day, like my whole family, I'm so lucky. We like, I love showing them my music and what I'm working on, and they give me, my dad gives me advice all the time, and a lot of times it's whack ass advice, but he's just a huge supporter, and you know, we support each other, and I'm very lucky for that.
Did you find yourself making more music during COVID when everyone was in lockdown?
Oh my God. So yeah, I mean, yes and no. So
I do know that you went to rehab, so I don't know if that.
I went to rehab during COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah. So COVID was a wild. I'll tell you this. So I was doing. I was sober. I had about a year sober, and that was like my main thing. And then COVID hit. My tour shut down. Everything shut down. And there was a whole bunch of reasons why I was sober shut down. And maybe, one could say that I wasn't really sober for the right reasons, that I was more sober for, so I wouldn't miss a show or whatever. But basically when my tour got canceled and all this stuff, I kind of took that as a woohoo, time to relapse. And I relapsed pretty quick. And I thought that I could kind of keep it under control. Could not. Went to rehab. I checked myself into rehab, but it took a long time. I had to call every morning at 8 a.m., which I remember thinking it was funny because I was like, what junkie is up at 8 a.m. trying to get into rehab? I was like, clearly
the ones that haven't gone to sleep yet.
Yeah, I was up on fucking coke and meth and whatever. Like, I would wait. I would be like, "Oh, it's 8 a.m. Hey, what's up? Can I get to bed?" and I can laugh at it now. But I ended up going, and it was an amazing thing. When I got back, I sort of was in between sobriety and not, and that's the whole long journey that I'm dealing with right now. But basically, what COVID did as far as creatively that was huge was just I relearned how to make beats on my own and sort of do things myself. For a while, I kind of, part of it was, self-doubt and, being insecure about like my abilities at making beats, because I'm not the best piano player at all. I don't have music theory. I started sort of thinking that I couldn't do things, that I forgot that I'm actually pretty good at. And COVID sort of forced me to do these things and made me realize like, oh, I'm actually pretty good at this stuff, and that was huge for me. And also, I love collaborating, as like from all my music, and I'm a huge collaborator. But I forgot that I don't have to be in the same city as these people. I can collaborate with as many people as I want, from wherever. They have a microphone where they are, the home studio set up. And so I ended up collaborating more during COVID than I did before, and I have anxiety issues too. So sometimes being in the studio with somebody can trigger anxiety for me, and which can make it more difficult to actually be vulnerable and creative. And so this sort of allowed me to be vulnerable and creative with people more than before, in a weird way, if that makes sense. Sorry if I was rambling. No,
I think it does, because you can be vulnerable and creative, but like still in your safe kind of bubble.
Exactly.
Where you can walk away at any time.
Exactly.
If need be. Is there a favorite collab that you did or that you've done?
During COVID? Oh my God,
or in
so
general.
many. In general. I will say my two favorites are Ryan Campbell and Maggie Brown. Mm-hmm. And I say that because Ryan Campbell I've been rapping with since we were tots. Maggie Brown has literally been my best friend since we were born. And the fact that her and I are still working on stuff is awesome. Please remind me after this. I gotta send you the stuff Maggie and I are working on. It's not like my other stuff.
I would love to hear it.
So, but I love it so much. Hopefully you dig it too. It's sort of my first non-rap project, but it still has hip hop elements for sure.
I was listening to you on the Nast podcast.
Oh boy.
Where you were talking about how you were getting more into singing.
Yeah.
And so how has that transition been? I mean, I can't sing at all, so I can't even imagine trying to.
Well, so that's the thing, though, that you got to know is neither can I. and I was so certain that that singing was something that you're either born with or you're not.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of those things I was talking to you about. Like I was so insecure about singing, and you know, I was if I ever wrote a melody, I'd be like, well, I'm not going to be the one to sing it. You know, I'm going to get Ariana DeBoo, or I'm going to get so and so, someone that can actually sing to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I learned is like you can like you as well practice, work at it. You can become a way better, and you can find your voice and to kind of figure out, you know, you might not be the most technically skilled at, you know, you might not be able to croon crazy and hit all these falsettos, and but like you can get good. I got so much better in the last less than a year, and I'm singing on all my stuff now, and I'm having so much fun with it.
Are you doing voice lessons, or are you like just practicing
my own
at
voice
home?
lessons? I guess I probably should do voice lessons, but no, it's more just sing a lot. It's a muscle. So it might sound like corny or something, but it's really true. It's a muscle that like you can work on. I get like how I used to be able to do 5 pull-ups. Now I can do 15. Now I can hit way more notes than I used to be able to. Like Panic at the Dive Bar, the song I just put out. That's me in the background
cool
doing
song.
How's the chorus go? I folded all my favorite flannels, hoodies, t-shirts,
and matching socks and lined my shoes
talking
up.
to the ghost inside my home. That's me crooning.
That's you?
Talking to the ghost inside my home.
I didn't realize that was you. I'm not gonna lie.
That's all me. No, I was in the booth.
Awesome.
It was so embarrassing. And
why?
But luckily, because in the booth, but luckily I had people in the studio with me that like were like, Sam, you can sing, like, and allowed me to like really go for it. And when I you know hit a flat note or whatever, they wouldn't like make fun of me. They would be like, no, you're almost there. You know, and that gets you better. You got to just go for it.
Oh man, that would be so stressful.
Because for that shit, especially that, I was having to croon. I couldn't go talking to the ghost inside. No, I had to go talking to the. It's the only way to make it sound good. I had to scream it.
You had to scream it out.
Oh my god, and that can be the most like terrifying thing ever. Yeah.
Terrifying just because you're afraid of messing up, or like because you can't really hurt your voice in a room full of your friends
and no, but like trying to like croon and scream something that like 50% of the time I'll probably miss the notes and I'll sound ridiculous. Like
I'm gonna
you gotta be around people that love you, and or you just gotta not give a crap, you know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Just let them roast you if need be.
Let them roast you, and then say, "All right, I heard you. I'm gonna do it again." You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's
so
been,
when I was
big.
That sounds really fun, honestly.
It was.
Just like scrolling on the internet, when you Google your name, I found out that you did a Safeway commercial.
Yes.
Can you tell me about that Safeway commercial, please? And how that came to be?
Oh, great question. Oh my god, I don't know if I've ever gotten to talk about this. So I remember, so funny. Speaking of, there was a point I remember back in the day where I was terrified of that coming out into like existence, because I was like, this is the corniest thing, and I was like, it's gonna ruin my rep as a rapper. and thinking about it now is just so funny. But like, yeah. So how it came to, for everyone watching, I don't even know how you can find it, but I'm pretty sure it's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube.
So, okay, what makes it even worse, what makes it even more embarrassing is it's on YouTube, but it's not like the videos on YouTube. It's like...
It's like someone recorded it?
It's like someone... Exactly. It's like someone recording a video and being like, These motherfuckers, shit. It's like someone that works at Safeway being like, why the fuck are they showing this shit in our like employee lounge? And it's like me being like, Safeway, yeah, it's the coolest thing. And
did you get paid for that commercial?
Fucking duh.
At least that, right?
I did that
like,
shit
you're
for
gonna
free.
ruin your reputation.
Oh no!
I don't know. Trying to get your name out there. How old were you?
So this is how it started. I did a rap song for, it's called Fred Hutchinson Cancer Care Alliance in Seattle, and it was something that I like actually cared about. Oh, what up? Oh, my manager's hitting me. Oh, hi. Thanks. Yeah. Are you good to, can we do another 15 minutes or so?
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Yeah. So it started with, basically I did a thing for the Cancer Care Alliance with Fred Hutchinson, and I don't know if that one's on YouTube or not, but I was probably 18. Yeah, I don't know where we would find that, but I was probably 18, and after that, this like older white lady who set this up had other friends, and she was like, I have friends that, she's like a very corporate woman. She was like, I have friends that would want you to do these kind of things for like other commercials, and I was like, absolutely. And so the next gig we got was for Safeway, and I mean, I guess now I can just say they offered $6,000 for a Safeway rap, which at the time $6,000 was like, that's
a lot of money
hell.
at 18. Yeah, at 18, that's a ton of money.
No, I remember I was with my friend driving. We found out what they were offering, and we were like, we turned the music up, and we're like, we're rich forever. That was so we that was the most money we'd ever seen, and then we find that we're like, we will do anything you guys want. I do not care. And then we find out that the rap is about like talking about how diverse Safeway is. If you listen to the rap, it's like, Safeway, the #1 in diversity. And then
did you have to write it, or did they write it?
Oh no, we wrote it. We told them.
Oh, okay.
We told them, like, give me all the bullet points of what you want. So they would probably be. So they told us, like, make sure the rap's about how diverse Safeway is. So we probably said, like, it's not the best, it's not the worst, but that's how, because Safeway's so diverse. Like, we just took their little bullet points and turned them into like really corny raps. Yeah. And then when we got there to record the thing, it was like all these old white guys behind us, like going like that, and us being like, Safeway, the #1 for. If you're listening to this, watch the thing. It is. And I mean,
I will add the
YouTube
YouTube link to that.
Ever.
I'm gonna
do not do that.
I'm going to add it to the show notes.
You totally can.
So,
there was a point where I was so embarrassed by that, and now it's so past that where it's just like, please watch this. It's just yeah.
I think everyone has that though when they look back at stuff they did at like 18 years old, especially when it's like recorded stuff and you're just like, why? Like, you want to die of embarrassment from it. I think everybody has that.
I mean, totally, but at least that one I can say why. It was
you can laugh at it. And I mean, I feel like $6,000 at that age, that was amazing. No one would have said no to that.
Oh yeah. I mean, the embarrassing thing is if you see it, just me talking about, sorry, continue.
You're good. Has there, going back to like
bad,
the Seattle. Oh, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Okay. Going back to like this, the Seattle music scene, has there been any venue that's been your favorite to perform at in the past?
My favorite has always been probably Numos. I love Chop Suey was the first venue in Seattle that I ever saw a rap show at, and it was the first show I've ever performed at. So I have so much love for it, and I love performing there. So I love intimate shows. So those are probably the most fun I've ever had. Um, Showbox Market was that was the biggest venue that I've sold out as a headliner. So that was like a very big deal for me. Of course, at the time when I sold it out and everyone was telling me how big a deal that was, I didn't care or know, because this was, I was on some drugs, just running around. People telling me like, you're one of the only people to sell out Showbox Market. And at the time, I just didn't think about it. Now thinking about it, that venue is so awesome. And I wish I took it more seriously at the time, but I'm so glad that I got to play that venue. I don't know how long it's going to last or if it's still even there, but yeah.
Is there a venue that would be your dream venue to perform at? Anywhere in the world? Or in Seattle?
Maybe Red Rocks. That would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Red Rocks would be sick.
And you're planning a tour right now? It seemed like you were talking about it a little bit on Instagram.
Yeah. So, I mean, sorry. Basically, as soon as this album's out, I want to tour. Touring to me is sort of the most fun thing to do. And I just, this next project I'm putting out, Songs Without a Home, it has, every song on it is like so performable. And it's something that I just can't wait to perform this music.
Where do you think you're going to go on the tour, or where are you trying to go?
So I usually hit the markets that I do best at, which is, the West Coast, some of the Midwest, some of the East Coast. But, and that's what I want. That's what I want to do with this tour. But the ultimate goal is eventually, one day, I'll say this now, one day going overseas. I've never toured overseas, and I would, just so I could get a free trip overseas. That would be awesome.
Like Europe or Asia or like anywhere?
Yeah, anywhere. I mean, I've been overseas, but I've never gotten paid to go overseas. That would be sick.
That would be amazing. I'm not going to lie. And
I have a ton of fans. I have a ton of people that hit me up saying, come here, mostly Europe. But I don't, I'm like, I want to come there. I don't really know how to set that up, but yes, one day, please. But that's definitely the goal.
Is there anything that I didn't ask you that I should have asked you throughout all of this?
Anything you didn't ask me that you should have asked me?
Covered the most important thing, which was the Safeway commercial. So
yeah, I was worried that you wouldn't cover the Safeway commercial, and I legit almost hung this call up and said, and then you asked me the Safeway commercial.
She's not gonna ask me.
Yeah, I was like, she's not even gonna. It's over. But thank God you asked me that, and no, I had a great time with this. I want to know, are you are you planning on staying overseas? Where are you moving back this way anytime soon? What's your deal?
Yeah, so I've been in Europe now for 10 years. I was in Norway and Germany. Now I'm in Austria. But my husband is Austrian and we have 2 kids, and I think the plan is for the next while to stay over here just because our kids are so small still. But obviously for me, the dream is to go back to the States just to be closer to my family.
Wow, that's amazing.
And it's
how old are the kids, you said?
My daughter's 6 and my son is 3. So
amazing.
They're still pretty little.
Yeah, my son is very hairy, and he is 2.5.
He's so cute.
He's a good boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything you wish that I would have covered?
No, I think I was just, I mean, to be completely transparent, I've been listening to your music since I was in high school. And I just was super excited that I got to sit down and talk to you a little bit today. Definitely been telling all of my friends about it.
Well, did I disappoint you? I hope I didn't disappoint you.
No, not at all. It was really enjoyable, honestly.
Okay, great.
No, it was fun, and just like
I was
listening
excited
to
about
previous.
This.
I'm glad. Are there any musicians in Seattle that you think that we should have on the podcast next?
I mean, of course. Think of everybody's moving to LA, right, and stuff. Like, I don't who's around right now.
That's kind of what I've been noticing. Like, Nacho Picasso's down in LA, isn't he?
Oh yeah, that's my bro.
I really like his music.
Totally. Like, I have a new song I'm working on right now with Dave B, but he's in LA also. Mm-hmm. Oh, you should talk to Ariana DeBoo. Could be cool. She's still in Seattle. She's working. Yeah, I don't know.
Tough question.
Yeah,
thank you so much for being on.
No, thank you so much for having me on. Seriously, I appreciate it so much.
And where can people find your new music the best, the easiest? On Spotify?
Yeah, find it wherever. Who cares? No, I'm kidding. It's on you can check it's on Spotify. Check out my new song, Panic at the Dive Bar. I love that one. And
go sign up for your Patreon too, because you do a podcast on there, right?
I do a podcast on there. That's how I make a living. So sign up for my Patreon, and I give so much content on there, and more than half of it's good content. All
right, I'll tag all of that in the show notes below as well, so people can just click on it. All right, thank you so much. If enough people
subscribe to my Patreon, I will make another Safeway rap. That's not true, but.
Join us next time for another episode of the Exploring Washington State podcast.